Hello everyone, this is Remlays from 40k Theories, and welcome to the October 2019 edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you would like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Now, let's jump into the questions. Warboss Thraka Snazfingers asks, and I apologise in advance if I butcher the Orc lexicon, I got a question, Omi. Do you think that the Eldar will succeed in rescuing Isha if the daughter of the Death God helps? I apologise for that. I honestly have no idea. We know the Anari have been in the Garden of Nurgle, so you would think that if Isha was going to be brought up, it would have been shortly after that. So I'm going to tentatively say, well, it is maybe possible. Whether they will is a different matter entirely. Mike Murdoch asks, out of all the major Xenos characters in 40k, which is your favourite and why? Probably Ghazghkull Thraka, just because I have a huge heart of nostalgia for him, because my first special character model in 40k at all was the 2nd edition Ghazghkull model, the one with the fur coat and the sword and the big spiky helmet. He is adorable. Do you have a story of how you found the dinosaur head that you now sport today? No, sorry. Voice of the Emperor asks, could the Emperor have successfully removed the Butcher's nails from Angron without killing him? No. In Master of Mankind, I believe it was, he speaks with Arkan Land, and Arkan Land asks the same question, and the Emperor basically says, I could remove the Butcher's nails, but doing so would kill him, because it's replaced half of his brain and spinal cord. Where did the whole Cyberdon shtick start? The episode of TTS where I first appeared in it, I think it was of Khans in Cages. I think that was the episode I first appeared, and that's where the whole meme started. Kaiba asks, do you think that we'll get a series of novels set within the Psychic Awakening campaign? Probably not. I mean, we didn't get any for Vigilus. So while we might get some based on the Psychic Awakening events in the future, it probably won't be for a while. Brandon A asks, what would you like to see as lesser and greater demons of malice, design based of course? Something that encapsulates a physical representation of an internal struggle, like something on two legs but has two torsos splitting away from itself, if that makes sense. Alternatively, just go for the old Realm of Chaos art of the generic demons. If the Chaos Gods willed it, could a demon prince be turned back into a mortal? I don't think so. I mean, it'd be like the same question of asking, can you turn a bloodthirster into a human, kind of thing. Or maybe not a human, but can you turn a bloodthirster into a mortal creature? And I don't think that's possible. I mean, I've not seen anything to suggest it is, so I'm gonna guess no. Since all greater demons have names, does the Bloodthirster from Dawn of War have a name, or are they all different greater demons of Khorne? I think they're all different ones each time you summon one, I think. Brent Feast asks, I watched your True Ancestry of Abaddon video and noticed that the name of Abaddon's birth father, Tar-Keridan, is extremely similar to the new named Primaris Imperial Fist, Tor-Garadon. Do you think this is an oversight by GW, or is it possible that the Imperial Fists are perhaps unknowingly recruiting from Chthoniya? I think it's just an oversight. I think GW just likes, the whole t-k-d sounds in the name, because you got Tar-Keridan, Tor-Garadon, Tor-Gadon, Tormageddon. I think it's just that. I've noticed GW seeming to struggle to make the Tau likeable. In the beginning, people criticised them for not being grimdark enough, and when they tried to address that, they ended up with people complaining about them being too dark. And then there are people who just seem to hate them. Do you think there is anything that GW could do to help with the Tau popularity, or are they pretty much a lost cause at this point? From what I've seen recently from my own personal experiences, I've seen a lot more people getting into the Tau as of late, so I wouldn't call them a lost cause. I think it's just more of a case of, the people who are the loudest are the minority in this case. Like, to be honest, I think a lot of people are just mainly indifferent to the Tau at this point, rather than actually hating them. Zero Hits asks, question about Ogryns. They are considered to be some of the most loyal and even pious members of the Emperor's armies. Why is it we never seem to see them serving the Adeptus Ministorum? I think in this regard it's mainly because the Ministorum detests mutants of all kinds, and to most members of the Ecclesiarchy, abhumans are just one step above mutant. So I think that's the main reason, but it's possible there are still exceptions to the rule. Jonathan Engelmeyer asks, what do we know about battleship security forces in the Imperial Navy? I'm pretty sure Imperial Navy ships have their own complement of troops on board, if only just to help, prevent against boarding actions from other ships. So I would imagine there would be, shipboard troops of some kind. I personally don't know much about them, but I'm pretty sure they must be mentioned in some books, like say, in the Gaunt's Ghost series, for example, just off the top of my head. I know in Requiem Infernal there was a Void Breacher team, but I think that was more tied to the Imperial Guard than the Imperial Navy. Cesar E. Lopez asks, what is the official count of Space Marine chapters? Right, prior to the Ultima founding, officially it was 1,000 Space Marine chapters, each numbering at 1,000 Battle Brothers. Officially. But we know, some chapters go beyond that number, some are under strength, and I think there might have been one or two outliers, additional chapters, etc. So that was prior to the Ultima founding, and with the Ultima founding, a crap ton of new Primarchs chapters were created, so I have absolutely no idea. Sorry. Heather Gochioso asks, is there a misconception about the law that you wish would just go away? The whole Nurgle is the oldest god thing, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We now even have confirmation in the Wrath and Glory book that states flat out, under the entry for Khorne is the oldest Chaos God. So there. Do your friends and family watch your channel? No idea. I hope so. Do you have an alternate dinosaur head for formal occasions? No, this is my formal attire. Do you provide a decent dental plan for your acolytes? No, but we do offer bionics. Chief Surgeon asks, with the Tyranids beginning to pour into the Milky Way galaxy, it's not entirely certain who will band together against this threat or if certain factions will even survive. So my question is, if no one formed alliances, which races would have the best chances for survival, and if alliances were formed, who do you think would team up, and why? Right, if no one made alliances, I would probably say the Orcs have the best chance, because the Orcs reproduce stupidly quick, and they're always good for a fight. They grow fast. I think they're going to do a good chance, because if I recall correctly with the... is it Octavius? Whichever it's called? The Orcs fought the Nids to a stalemate, and basically both sides were following reinforcements, and no one was winning. So the Nids couldn't win, but the Orcs were enjoying the fight, so I think the Orcs have a good chance, with the Imperium in a close second. If alliances were formed, I think anyone would join up against the common foe at this point. We know of the story Enemy of My Enemy that the Imperial Guard and the Orcs allied together. We know in the War of the Beast that the Iron Warriors and the Black Templars allied against the Orcs, so you could have something like that occur in the future. So to be honest, I think in regards to who will team up, I think it'll be more a case of, hey, let's team up because we're both going to get eaten if we don't. And finally, Kenneth asks, which of the Primarchs cared most for their Gene Sons, and which one cared for them the least? I think there was quite a few Primarchs who genuinely cared for their sons. Vulcan obviously, Russ, Magnus, Jagatai I believe as well. So there's quite a few potential candidates in this regard. The Primarch who cared for them the least. I'm going to turn around and say it was Conrad Kurz, because we know by the end of the Heresy he absolutely despised his Legion. He hated it. So it's tied between him and Angron, because Angron, hey, my Gene Sons, you didn't conquer this world in 16 hours? I'm killing half of you because I'm a dickhead with nails in my skull. Conrad was a very bad dad, and let's just say Vulcan was a very good dad. And that concludes this edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you would like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Until next time, this has been Remlays from 40k Theories, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye!